78% of suicide rates worldwide are men. What can we do to help them? Listen and stop telling me I'm a failure and I need to go to a hospital. Have a cup of coffee. Just stop talking to women. They suck. Maybe destigmatize men going to get therapy? I've had a few male friends of mine say they don't want to get therapy because it would be unmanly. Let guys be allowed to talk about their feelings? I'm a woman, so I can only give my 2 cents from my perspective. Cut down the toxic masculinity and the real men don't show emotion BS and actually let men express themselves too. Tell them to stop being depressed. Just be happy, hun. Do you all think video games are helping or hurting? I thought the majority of suicide was women at one point. You guys all doing okay? Generally speaking, we need to recalibrate our societal conception of self-worth and responsibility. Men need to be taught, ideally from an early age, that responsibility of providing does not rest on their shoulders. Meanwhile, support groups that spread messages of inherent self-worth regardless of one's ability to, financially, support a family could be helpful. All people can be valuable for any reason. What is it that you are motivated to do that isn't being done where you live? Be the change you want to see, and you will feel your worth in practice. Smile. Lower the cost of therapy. Fuck the "you're a guy, grow up" shit. I got heavily into cars a few years ago and have made a ton of friends through that link. I think for many dudes in their late 20s and 30s, we have a thing we love and think we're alone because nobody we know directly also does that thing. The guy that lives 2 doors down might also be into cars or board games or whatever, and he might know the guy across the street who is the same way. If you have no community, building one is often an overlooked option. Ask me a personal question and I'll spill all my beans. That's how long it's been since anyone actually asked how I'm feeling, and it's not like I lack friends or anything, but it seems like everyone sees me as a crying shoulder, yet no one seems to be there for me. We could stop perpetuating a culture that pushes men to start a family then provide for it in a world which is becoming increasingly unfriendly to that cultural arrangement of personal male responsibility. If the world is set up for you to fail, but failure is blamed on your lack of personal worth, I would expect you to be disillusioned with society and quite possibly suicidal. Firstly, stop with telling men to man up. Secondly, stop with the emotional abuse by saying men don't have feelings that women or anyone else otherwise would have. Thirdly, understand that society is different everywhere and that in some places around the world, men have inherently higher stress because of factors involving mainly religion, gender and financial expectation. Maybe stop separating them from their children? Train bartenders in self-help and suicide prevention and then pay them social service benefits. Have the VA use its resources for good and not push aside our mental problems. Stop the paradigm where men are expected to be something they are not. Expectations for toxic behavior will only lead to death. Society needs to realize that men have emotions just the same as women, but we don't talk to other people about them cause we think that other people will judge us. Just be happy in it. Men need to support other men in the way women support women. Yes, getting more compliments and being listened to is great. However, stop relying on women to be the ones to do that. Men need to compliment other men more, and men need to be more sensitive to other men's feelings. Normalize emotional disclosure, including negative emotions. Teach young boys and their support systems that there is absolutely nothing weak or embarrassing about feeling sad, lonely or overwhelmed, and sharing those thoughts with people you care about. Become a good listener. Be there for them when they need you. As a woman, I have found being positive and supportive to my male friends helps a lot. I work in a male-dominated field and have formed strong bonds with these men by just being nice to them and encouraging. Boys, especially boys of color, are much more likely to drop out of school than their female peers. The consequences of this extend over a lifetime. We need to make sure we are reaching young men and providing them with supports, including those focused on their social/emotional needs, as early as possible. Give them purpose. Every day we inch towards a society where more and more labor is directed towards entertainment because automation has reduced the need of humans in productive jobs, manufacturing, farming, etc. The ones with jobs outside of entertainment either have menial jobs, fast food, cleaning, etc., or struggle with intellectual jobs. Without a sense of purpose, a man is nothing. In fact, modern women who were raised like men are now facing the same problems. Their needs are similar but still biologically different, so in some places you have the female version of prostitutes, male for pay boyfriends because they don't have time for a relationship or are just not interested in traditional female roles. Make barbiturates legal. They're going to do it anyway. Why make the only options terrifying and/or excruciating? Give them a gun. As a depressed man now at 50, I didn't even know I had it for years. I figured it started around puberty. But, as a man, you're supposed to suck it up and persevere. Also thought, at the time, that meds were not manly. How wrong I was. Teach boys going through puberty that it is okay to talk to someone about anything and tell young men that getting antidepressants is just like getting an insulin shot. Your body doesn't make enough chemicals, so you need to take pills to make up the difference. Diagnose those that genuinely have ADHD properly. OFCBC women push us to suicide by rejecting us. Stop making fun of them for fuck's sake. Telling them they're pussies for having feelings is a big part of the issue. If they have interest in you, tell them how you feel first. We hate doing IT because we fear rejection, but tell them because we won't hurt you. I believe the majority of us men need camaraderie. I'm an electrician. I work in dirty, loud, dusty and uncomfortable environments. I'm lucky to have a good group of co-workers. We don't hang out outside of work, and I don't think any of us would call each other friends. Although, we do eat lunch together, look out for each other and at times even talk about more sensitive topics. For example, I am one of the younger guys, but I sometimes ask about things like marriage, raising children. I have co-workers from other countries and I ask about their journey from then to now. I look up to them in a sense, even if I don't agree with all of their stances and approaches. Men need other men to bounce things off and to have men bounce things off of them. It's tough, but that's what comes to mind for me. Electing Bernie Sanders would be a good start. As a teen, I suffered with depression through secondary school, and the only advice I can give to others with the same issue is to talk to a loved one or a friend about how you feel and explain everything. It helps to get it off your chest, and just because we are men doesn't mean we cannot express our feelings. It does get better, trust me. Suicide does not stop the pain, it passes it to someone else. Give them a girlfriend. Probably pretty similar to what we can do for the 22% women. It took me like 5 years to mention even to my therapist just how often I actually thought about suicide, and I don't even have intent. Start breaking down the strongman stigma that implies any mental health needs are a weakness. I tried killing myself 3 times. What helped the most was just list 90 my problems, so maybe have more hotlines for that. MDRJNK We need to get rid of the man's man mentally. We men shouldn't be striving for unrealistic goals that society places on us. We need to get away from the John Wayne alpha male mentality, because that lifestyle is toxic for our health. Well, first of all, we can get rid of Jerry Jones and get a better owner. Stop the stigma of not expressing emotions. Literally got slapped as a child if I cried from being yelled at or slapped. Shared custody for kids. The amount of fathers being ostracized by their families after a divorce is outstanding. Sex, lots of sex. Shut down the myth that men can't show emotion. Treat their emotions with more concern, encourage them to open up and get therapy more often if possible. Just allow them to express emotion without worry. Make sure that they know they can express their feelings without it threatening an ideal of fake masculinity. Maybe they should be able to show weakness and form deeper bonds without being called gay for it. Kid could be a first step for them to talk about things. Stop telling them they need to be one way to be successful. Be nice. End the stigma of mental illness and mental health issues, and make it easier to access help. Also, let men know that it is acceptable and encouraged to seek help. The stoicism and stiff upper lip our society and culture have around men's emotions and mental health are toxic.
With